And now we'll be on YouTube. So welcome on YouTube as well, everybody. That's the camera for YouTube. That's the camera for Periscope. And Gilbert, Toronto, do you speak French? Why does someone ask me this every day? Canada, Vancouver, like for reals. So good to see everybody. Today we're going to talk about what to do when you get into a bad trade, but we're in the middle of recording one of the episodes of the Booker Report. And I'm actually not sure that we can record into two programs at the same time. So this is going to be really interesting. We might have just fouled up the whole thing.
Okay. Do we speak Australian?
No. Australian, all this watching for nothing. People are so polite. People, do you speak London? I love these questions. These are great. Welcome, everybody. We're going to see if we can continue this conversation. When we left off just a moment ago, we were speaking to Mike on the podcast and radio show, Bonjour, and we were giving him some recommendations. And I can't remember what we said. Let's see if this will even work if we try to replay what we just said. That method. And that's actually a really easy way to go. Or what you could do. And this is only if you like reading trading books and stuff. What Mike could do, who is looking for a trading system and looking to do something longer term, Mike could also just get a book like Trading for a Living or Come Into My Trading Room or Technical Analysis of the Financial Markets. And he could read that book and apply whatever he learns from that book. You could do that, Mike, and you could apply what you've learned to those longer term charts. The question becomes, if you don't have a lot of time to dedicate to the financial markets and you choose a discretionary trading system, which, Rachel, a discretionary trading system is a trading system where you make the call.
Okay.
So you're making the decisions. A robotic or automated trading system is one where the robot's just running off and taking whatever trades it wants to take and whatnot. And that's an automated system. And that's kind of my preference lately because I like to be a little bit lazy. But the other idea is that you can be a discretionary trader where you make the call, you make the trades. But the problem is, Mike, you're going to get into a trade that goes against you. And eventually you're going to get into a trade and it's not going well. And have you ever had a problem in your life, listeners on Periscope or YouTube? Have you ever had a problem in your life that you just can't stop thinking about? Like you become totally obsessive about that problem. And I've had that problem. And you just need to cry, says Slow Poker. Yeah, trading, exactly. And in the financial markets, I call this being a zombie trader, Rachel. It's when you're in a bad trade or investment and it's going against you. And it's the same feeling as when your car broke down and it's barely running and you still have to get to work.
Yeah.
And you've ever driven in a car and it's so broken down that you don't know if you're going to be able to get to work. That's what it feels like to have a trade that's gone against you. It could damage you. It could hurt you. You could be in big trouble. And so this is the problem, Mike. You might not be nearby the computer screen, and so you could find yourself in a trade that's gone against you, and you could become a zombie trader. And so all of our friends here on Periscope are giving us a great suggestion, and that is to remember that you have no obligation to stay in a trade that isn't working out. And what you want to do, whether it's a robot that's gone wrong or a trade that's gone wrong, is you want to close that out really early. Now, earlier this year, I actually, on January 8th, Rachel, I was trading the British pound on a day when I knew I shouldn't have been trading it. And I took a trade and I thought I was entering the trade with one lot, and that's a trade size in the currency market. And in fact, I entered it with 10.
Oh.
And I decided I'm just going to fix this. I'm going to get out of this just fine. And I rode that thing into like a $4,000 pit of despair until I finally got myself out of it later in late January, early February. You don't have to do that, Mike. You cut off any trade that's not going in your favor right away. When we come back, we've got lots more to tell you about getting out of a bad trade, Mike, right after these messages. All right, so that was segment 2. And what we're doing here on the show today, everybody, I guess I might as well speak to you, is we are recording the actual show. And I'm going to try to type segment 2. We're recording the actual show as we go. And I hope if you're on YouTube that there's, not too much of a delay. And I hope also that you're having a beautiful time. I can't see the chat right now, but I always love the chats that come in from YouTube. Oh, here it is. Open the live chat in a new window. Hey, Joel. Oh, yeah. Rob's voice comes out from the left speaker and Rachel from the right speaker. Yeah. That's hilarious. Okay. Sorry about that. We're going to fix that eventually. I don't exactly know how we're going to fix that, but we're eventually going to fix it. Let's go to Wes and tell him. Just ask Rachel to fix it. Rachel, would you fix this?
Oh, yeah.
When is my next seminar? You can send me an email, rob@thebookerreport.com, or you can text me if you need to know when our next seminar is. I think we're going to do a thing in Houston in May. Segments 1 and 2 are done if you don't mind checking them. All right, let's go to segment 3. When are you coming to the UK? Okay, I'm going to come to the UK in...
Are you coming to Russia?
Jeez, okay, this is getting a long list. It depends on what the situation in Russia is. I'm coming to the UK in June. I'm going to be at the Forex Day in Madrid. So I'll be at the big conference in Madrid, Spain. And then after I do that conference, I'm going to go play in Italy or whatever. And then after that, I will come to the UK and do a seminar. Unfortunately, I don't go everywhere. You were just in Europe too.
I was, yeah.
Where did you go in Europe?
I went to England, Ireland, Scotland, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and France.
What was your favorite place?
I really liked France a lot.
Did you like Paris, France, or did you like other France?
All of it. All of it.
Some people say they don't like Paris, but I've always...
I like it.
I liked it. I wore out a pair of shoes in Paris. I wore my shoes out. The shoes were just destroyed. Rob, if your system shows to be optimal with 1 blah, blah, blah risk per trade. And then they just left us hanging. There was a question that wasn't a question.
Cliffhanger. Sometimes
people text me questions that aren't questions, and they're hilarious. They'll be questions like, Rob, but what about? And that's it. It says, well, you should video sit Poland. Oh, I would love to visit Poland. I would love to. Does anybody want to marry me in Poland? Should be very risky, right? Hello, where can I find the robot that you use for Forex? Tomorrow, go to thebookerreport.com, and at the top of the page, there will be a thing that floats down, and it will say, you get more information about the robots. I do not do regular expectancy calculations. These are good questions. Let's just take a minute and not record for just a second. I don't do regular expectancy calculations. Does that make any sense to you, Rachel?
No.
Okay, an expectancy calculation is, let's say on average, if you take a bunch of trades, on average your profit is X.
Okay.
And on average, you have a win percentage that you win 70% of the time. So your expectancy per trade is your win percentage multiplied times your average profit. So if your average profit is 10 and your win percentage is 70%, you have an expectancy of $7 per trade.
Okay.
I don't do any of that because I think that endless calculations for me have just led to problems. And it's good for some people, but it's gotten me messed up where I will chase after a certain expectancy as opposed to just letting it go. I don't want to say I'm Zen about it because that's being disrespectful to people who are actually Zen Buddhists, but I'm Zen about it in the sense that I don't care about a lot of the same metrics that people care about. I care about robustness. I care about how well does a system do under pressure. If you read the book Anti-Fragile by Nassim Taleb, there's not a lot of calculations in that book, but it's really a book about does your system or method or habits or your routine or your lifestyle, does it do better under pressure? And I think what I look for are trading systems that do well under pressure, as opposed to trading systems that do well with an expectancy. And there's no offense. I don't mean any offense to the group of people or the crowds of people who really like win percentages and expectancies. And I have a huge amount of respect for that. Like, we're an equal opportunity family and we just want to be successful. But I've done this for 17 years now. And every time I worry about my win percentage or my expectancy or even my equity curve in the present tense, it just messes me up. I get way thrown off. And so anyway, all right, let's get back to recording the show. Do I record my daily, weekly, and monthly profit and loss? Oh. I don't even care. I want to make a little less than 1% per week. And we call that the 40% club. I do not have you've known me for a while, and I don't seem like I care about a lot. No. Right. I just don't get fazed about a lot of things. I care about my children. I care about my family. I care about my leveling up in Star Wars Battlefront. I'm just kidding. That's not really important. I don't care about a lot of what I try to do is let's just do a segment of the show here and we'll talk about what to do. Here we go. And welcome back to the show, friends. My name is Rob Booker. This is the Booker Report. This is the radio show, basically, where all of us together are a worldwide happy family. You might not know each other, but coming up in Houston in May, we'll do a conference, and you can all fly out. We'll all get together. The conference is absolutely free, unless you're a jerk, and then we might charge you to get in. I'm just kidding. No one that listens to this is a jerk. Anyway, really, we are going to do a conference in Houston in May. I will also be in Spain and the UK this summer if you want to stop by. We're having a conversation with our worldwide family here about what you do when you get into a bad investment. And we're talking to Mike, who's a listener of the show, who wrote to us, and we really appreciate his comment. And I mentioned that Mike might turn out to be a long-term trader. He might want to focus on the long-term charts. And he might find himself in a situation from time to time where a trade of his has gone bad. And I say investment and I say trading because I use those terms interchangeably. And I think people that correct me for which kind of term I'm using, every time you correct me for the language that I use, a baby angel loses its wings and a baby unicorn loses its horn. I'm just kidding. I don't mind. I use those terms interchangeably because some of you that listen to the show on the radio are more accustomed to hearing the word investment. And some of you that listen to the show on a podcast or on periscope.tv/Rob Booker or YouTube or whatever, you're more accustomed to hearing the word trading. And I use those words interchangeably. Mike sounds like he's going to be a longer-term investor, and it seems like he's going to watch the longer-term charts and not have a giant amount of time to dedicate to just staring at the charts. And what I mentioned to Mike in the last segment was there's a chance here that he's going to get into a trade that goes against him. What do you do when a trade goes bad or when something goes bad? The human body under stress produces a bunch of cortisol. And like cortisol in like super high doses will literally just kill you. Like I read an article in Psychology Today, and it was about like you could literally worry yourself to death. And some demented bunch of lab researchers, like horrible people, put a bunch of monkeys in a cage or something and then like stressed them out and then all the monkeys died, or it was mice or something like that. It's horrible and demented, but literally, and you know someone in your life that has worried themselves sick. And here are some things that I do to not worry so badly about those trades I'm in and deal with loss and deal with difficulty in an investment or a trade. Number one, I start a trade off with a really small trade size, and I get at least 5 questions about this every day. This means that you basically make sure that if you're running a $100,000 equities account, that you just trade. You basically start your first trade so small with a stock that you're buying that it could drop against you 50% and you would still only lose a couple percentage points of your entire account, or about like $2,000. Or if you're trading in the world of currency, no more than one mini lot per $10,000 in your account, so that it could go against you 1,000 pips and you'd lose 10%. And it's not going to make a big difference. The first thing that you do is you prevent yourself from losing your mind over a bad investment or trade by trading small. The second thing that you do is you make sure that you have an absolute cap or a maximum amount that you're willing to let this trade go against you or investment go against you. That's why I love trading and investing as opposed to real estate, because in real estate, you're like, oh my gosh, this house's value is going way down against me. I'm going to get rid of this house. No, you're not. Sometimes you can't get rid of a house, and that's a really bad situation to be in. That's why I like trading, and that's why I love the currency markets, because if you want to get out at midnight, you can get out at midnight, and it's the same as getting out during the day. It's just amazing. The third thing I would do is I would get a family of supportive people around you. That is the number one way in times of stress, in particular about a trade, that you can prevent yourself from absolutely going bananas. Now, when I was in that British pound US dollar trade that I mentioned in the last segment, I was down at one point, I think $4,000 on like $11,000 trading account. And it scared the shiz out of me. And I was really worried about that. And I have a worldwide family of traders that I work with. It's inside the chat room that we have, and we text message each other and whatever. And so I had people that I could talk to about the British pound when that went bad, and that prevented me from absolutely going out of my mind. That makes a huge difference. Now, for those of you that are wondering if I can show some charts, just go to thebookerreport.com, click on subscribe. It's $9, and every day I do a webinar where I show charts. It's so hard to show a chart through the radio that I can't actually do it. And on Periscope, I'd have to turn the camera around. And on YouTube, occasionally, I do exactly that, and I show a chart. When we come back, we'll give some more advice to Mike. We'll take your questions. But first, we need to break for a message from these important sponsors. Sponsorship friends. All right. You guys should just get a little bit closer. You're both off the screen. This is hilarious. Okay, here we go. Let's see what Wirecast says about that. Yeah, here, move your... And then we can move this closer. Okay. And we got to save this file. We're like, this is how we treat you. You should share this on Twitter now. We just moved closer for you, so you should do something for us now.
That's the least you could do.
That's the least you could do. You could tweet it. Okay. Can't afford to rolly chairs.
Oh.
You can't afford to spell the word. Okay, I'm not going to say anything bad. I have this like cynical, sarcastic attitude that I'm trying to... Yeah, of course, we know. I can afford 2 rolly chairs, but this is a whole thing about me being cheap. That's why I have money left over. Anyway, thanks for being here, everybody. I got a question that I can't see right now because it's over here. It's like on the edge of the computer where all this stuff is hiding. Let's see if we can find a screenshot. Yeah, that was a good question. Let me see if I can find some more of the excellent questions that we can answer here before we come back. How long have you been cheap for? About a month. Working, I'm really trying this year to be cheaper. And that's the honest truth. If you're watching on YouTube, hello, everybody. I think it's hilarious that on YouTube, my voice is coming out of one side and your voice is coming out of the other. And that's because both of our microphones are plugged into that. I wonder if we can plug into one thing and then that thing plugs into one microphone thing. I'm not cheap. I'm just on sale. Oh my gosh. That's pretty funny. Oh, market manipulations. All right. What date are you going to UK? I'm going to go to London, and it will be around June 13th. Someone's surprised that I'm so cheap, they're surprised that you're not sitting on top of a box.
Oh.
I'm not rude like that. Like if someone's going to come over and... okay, let's get back to the show. This is segment 4.
He stole the chair.
He stole the chair. Segment 4. Let's make sure segment 4 is the right length. It is. And welcome back, friends. I get a lot of questions. I have in WhatsApp right now, look at this, Rachel. Look at all these questions.
Oh, wow.
Look at all those unread questions. They go back a long way. So let's open up the mailbag here and talk about some stuff. Here we got one from the 4-4 country code. Here we are on the Booker Report. Welcome back. It's Thursday. Nice to see you here. This is a worldwide family of happy listeners and investors and traders who care about each other and who want to self-direct their investments to have more success and freedom and happiness in their lives so you can have more of what you want. One question that came through today on Periscope while we were doing the show is, do I recommend hedging? Rachel, do you know what hedging is?
I don't.
Hedging is when a trade goes against you and in a separate trading account or investment account, you actually... Now, there's a lot of definitions of this. So, I mean, like there can be a lot of definitions. But one of the definitions that is most frequently used in my circle of friends is you go into another investment or trading account and you actually take a trade in the opposite direction. So that's like if you're dating someone and they have a twin and it's not going well with one of them, you start dating the other one. And that's kind of crazy, but that is exactly what some people do, especially in the world of currency trading or Forex. People will hedge by taking a trade in exactly the opposite direction. Now, I know certain traders and people out there who have done this successfully, and they're good friends of mine. Nimmer is one of them, and I'm sure there are viewers on Periscope right now. I'm sure there's viewers on YouTube right now that have had this experience. It's really difficult to do. It is almost impossible, in my opinion, for most people to hedge. Because what you end up doing is you're in a bad trade in one direction. Hello, this is Harry from One Direction. And then you get into a trade going in the opposite direction. And if that one goes bad, then you are in big trouble. And that's what has happened to me in some cases. In fact, right now, I'm helping a friend work their way out of massive hedges gone wrong. Big. We're talking about tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, wow.
And it's hard to work your way out of a hedge. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible, and I'm not saying that you're an idiot if you do it. It's not. I don't ever want to say that. But it's just easier in the first place to close the bad trade. Okay. It's so much easier, although some people hang on to those bad trades. It's just so much easier just to get rid of the trade and close it out. All right, next comes from the 4-4 country code. I basically started to read this, and then I forgot that I was reading it, and now we're coming back to it. Craig in the UK writes, "Hey, Rob, I hope you're well. I'd be interested to know your thoughts on market manipulation by market makers and large financial institutions. Is this a consideration in your trading style? I'm 2 years in trading and doing okay. However, I've recently started to see how the market is manipulated and wondered what your thoughts are and if you believe they are. Maybe an idea for a show. All the best." Hey, that's you. That's our question from Craig. He's here watching on Periscope. Craig, I'm so happy to see you here on Periscope. All right. So it is absolutely the case that there has been significant market manipulation in two different areas. One, market manipulation in Forex was rampant in the retail Forex industry in the early part of the last decade, 2001, 2002, 2003. It is a heavily regulated market now, and that is way, way less frequent. The institutional world of Forex was even worse. And if you go on Google and you Google New York Bank of Mellon and Forex, you will see like all these court cases and settlements and whatever, where they were basically they were accused of seriously messing up their clients. That's not as much of a concern anymore. The world of Forex is way more heavily regulated than it used to be. The other place where people worry about market manipulation is with these books that have recently come out, like Flash Boys, also written by Michael Lewis. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
So this has really been a Michael Lewis kind of day. Michael Lewis wrote a book called Flash Boys, and it's about how high-frequency traders in the equities markets will step in and manipulate the price and show a fake order, get someone to move price in the direction of that fake order, and then they'll actually trade in the opposite direction. Or these high frequency traders would buy the price feed data from like bigger brokers, and actually they would literally know what direction I was placing my orders in before I got to take a trade, and they would get in front of my trade by like a tiny millisecond, and then they would get right back out of the trade after I took my trade. And basically they would park these computer servers right next to the stock exchanges, so they had like an near instantaneous connection. And it was it's a fascinating book, and it highlights this manipulation in the world of equities trading or stocks trading. That problem is still not solved, and there is quite a bit of that goes on. And from time to time, I'll hear from people who say, "How do we fight this manipulation?" And the answer is, from day to day, you pick where you get in and you pick where you get out. If you are trying to day trade the equities markets, this is going to be a problem. If you are trying to high frequency trade, this is going to be a problem because you won't be as fast as them. But if you have a slightly longer term perspective on this, then you're not going to have to worry about any of those problems, Craig. They are problems, and the regulators are going to have to deal with it, but it's not going to affect most of us on a day-to-day basis in any kind of massively significant way. It is important and it is a problem, but it won't. All right, so this is good. From the 9-1 country code, hope making tons of money. Hello, sir. How is you going? If making that is awesome. If not, don't worry. You will make it. I am Zubair, and my question is, this is real. This is a real question. I am new to currency trading. I am from India, so I have Indian rupee. Now I want to trade pound dollar. I am short on dollar. I actually am. Oh, this is a recent question. I thought, oh no, I probably didn't answer this question for weeks, and he lost all of his money. I'm short on dollar, so I am selling. So what is he doing? He's selling the dollar with pounds. Now, in which currency will I calculate my profit and loss? Oh, that's not a stupid question, Zubair. Zubair's my honey bear. It's all calculated in dollars, and it will all get settled back in dollars. One of the wonderful things about currency trading is that you can trade the Turkish lira against the Thai baht, and when you close your trade, your broker just does all the back end shiz, and they just translate all your bajillions of pips into dollars or whatever it is, and you don't have to do any of that math. When I first started, I thought I had to do that math, and my brain contorted into this yoga pose that really, I almost ended up in a mental hospital. When we come back, we'll close out the show with a few more of your excellent questions. I'm Rob Booker. You're listening to The Booker Report. I'm so happy Craig was here, and we got to hear Craig's question. And that's segment 4.
How many are there? 5 or 6?
There's 5. The last segment is 3 minutes and 50 seconds long. How about stop orders? Stop orders are brilliant. Okay, so I was in this trade. I was in this stock TOPS that has like really low volume. So some stocks have super low volume, and that means they're like, they call them penny stocks or over-the-counter stocks. But this one's a NASDAQ traded stock, so it's on like a major exchange. I got in at $2.96. I bought 500 shares. So I was thinking, oh, if it goes up $1, I'll make $500. I wasn't really thinking like that, but that's just like, that's kind of what I was thinking, way like 3 steps back. And so it went up. It went to $3.30. And I realized, what am I doing in this stock? This thing could go to 0, and then I'm going to lose all of my money that's in this stock right now. I got to get out of this. So it was trading at $3.30, and I put a sell order in, and it exited my trade at $3.05, meaning I got charged basically 25 cents a share for the right to get out of that trade. So what our friend here that said, what about stop orders? I should have used a limit order that said, I want to get out at this price, and that's only if I can get out at that price, but otherwise I'm not interested. So yeah, those smaller stocks are easily manipulated. Wes is fixing up the audio for us, and then we're going to come back with segment 5. then we'll take another question from WhatsApp. It's kind of my favorite thing. So this is cool. This is Hey Franz. That's the name of the program. And Hey Franz will look at all of my chat applications at the same time.
It's called Hey Franz.
I know, like Franz. Hello, Franz. It's because a guy in Austria made it. But it's for the Mac, and you can load all of your things. Hey, Rob, when was the last time you were seriously pissed off? Oh, like
the 90s.
Yeah, 1971. Like I stopped breathing when I was born, and I had the cord wrapped around my neck, and I was pissed. I was really mad. I was so mad I died. Like I was that mad. I am a happy guy. Yeah. I am a happy guy. There's no question. I may be the happiest person that I know. So I got deposed by the CFTC. The Commodities Futures Trading Commission said, "You're in trouble. Get your butt in here." And so I flew to Chicago, and I'm sitting down with the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. And I'm theoretically, okay, of course, everybody says, I don't think I really did anything wrong. Well, I really actually don't think I did anything wrong. They probably differ. But anyway, the point is, I got in there, I'm like, well, I mean, I'm not going to just be sad just because I'm with all of you. Like, I'm not going to be sad about it. And there was this guy that was from Washington, D.C., and he was like a chief detective for the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, and he was on the big screen that we all help pay for with our taxes, and he was like asking me the rudest questions, like impugning my integrity. And he's like, well, don't you know that most people will always try to cheat? And I was like, what?
Oh my gosh.
And I said, that's a really dark view of humanity. I am so sorry. Like, do you go home at night and like take all your clothes off and like whip yourself? I didn't say that part. I'm like, are you that mad at yourself? Are you like, what happened? Like, I'm so sorry. You need a hug. And I was like, could we just reach in there and like give you a hug and stroke your hair? Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So, here's a good one. I got a good one. We're going to end the show on a lighter note. And welcome back to the Booker Report, our friends. Nice to see you here. Thanks for joining us today on this Thursday, March 3rd. Now, I met a really nice friend in Athens when I was there. I met this woman, and I won't say her name. I don't think she cares. Her name's Dorothy, but that's like her Polish name. And we took a Segway tour together, and she's really nice. And it turns out she's like some Polish model or something like that. Do you want to see her Facebook page? Okay, I'll show you her Facebook page at the very end. Anyway, she said, I'm going to a gala dinner tonight. She WhatsApp messaged me, and I need a few good jokes. So I'm going to tell you a joke. Here we go. So this show is always so serious. There's a guy driving down the road. I sent her this joke because I know a lot of jokes. He's got 17 penguins in his car. The cop sees him, stops him, and says, I don't know what's going on here, but you've got to take these penguins to the zoo. The guy's like, okay. The next day, the guy's driving, and he has the same 17 penguins in the car. The same cop pulls him over and says, hey, look, man, I stopped you yesterday, and I told you to take these penguins to the zoo. The guy says, I took them to the zoo. Today, we're going to the beach. Okay, here we go. A penguin walks into the bar, and he says to the bartender, have you seen my brother here? And the bartender says, what does he look like? Okay, I don't know why. I know these are horrible jokes. I'm aware of that. Thank you very much. But I'm just going down the WhatsApp Messenger messages in the order that they were received. So happy to be with you. Of course, I'm always happy to hear from you. You can send me a text message with a question for the show at 304-281-8332. You can use WhatsApp if you live outside the United States of America. Question for you, Rob. Where can I get access to your ghost pivots indicators or all these indicators that you place on your charts? That comes from the 905 area code from our friend Supra from Arlanta. I think that's probably Atlanta. Well, it's nice to hear from you. You can get all the indicators that I use, and you can just get way more information on everything that I do if you go to thebookerreport.com. You can get past episodes of the show, and you can get a YouTube live video of the show as we broadcast it. You can get a list of my favorite books about trading and other things on that site. You can even get free education and information on a simple trading system that I use on that as well. And I always love to hear from you if you've got a joke that we can tell on the air. That would be amazing. One more question before we go. Have you finally closed your TROV trade? Rachel, that's another one of those stocks that's really volatile, really small, hard to get out of, and I'm still in it. I bought it around $4.87 a share. It's up $1, and I'm waiting for that to go up about $4 more. So I am not exiting that trade. I'm holding on to that one for a while, and my stop is at break even. We'll see you tomorrow, friends. We love you very much. Bye for now. Well, that wasn't the worst show we ever did. Oh, there's the music. TROV rocks. Sure does. Thanks for being here on Periscope, everybody. All righty then. Okay, so let's take a look at this Facebook page. Check out this. So I had no idea. So I finally looked her up on...
Just the Polish model.
Yeah. Like, I was like, wow, that's not what you looked like when we were on the Segway together. Right? I was like, whoa. So, anyway. Where was I? I lost my train of thought. Here we go. Thanks for being here on Periscope, everybody. And we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. We'll be on at 3. And I'm saving this show into the show archive, and that will be the radio show for tomorrow and the podcast for tomorrow. If you were here on YouTube, really appreciate you joining us on YouTube. It's always a lot of fun to see you here. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, friends. We will see you tomorrow. And then we have to stop the YouTube manually.
The YouTube.
I would say the Twitter and the YouTube.